morning. I speak blessings to you and yours, Palmer family. I'm the world's most loved mother, Montisha. That's what my sons call me, so Mom, it is. Today I want to talk to my son. He's taking time out of his busy schedule, my busy schedule. I worked last night, so I'm tired this morning. But hey, Mama got to do what Mama got to do.
That's right.
Our time, how would we say it? Like, it's a word for it. Lord, I can't think of it.
That's all right.
I can't think of the word. But anyway, our duet.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do something different today, and I don't know. We're just gonna give you a taste of what it was like growing up in public housing, and man, just
hood stories.
Yeah, how God really just blessed us, like, because so much could have happened. Like he really saved us because
a lot did happen.
Yeah, living in public housing. It wasn't the worst of times, but it wasn't the best of times. And I can understand how people, move in there, get comfortable, they get lost. As far as, like, you think you have friends, and the friend said, here, smoke this, and next thing you know, you addicted to drugs. Or you just get so depressed that you start drinking and you don't want to stop. But these are just our experience living in public housing, and the only thing that I can say that while we were there, it was the mercy of God, the grace of God that saved us, that kept us out of harm's way from anything happening, because so much happened in those years that we were there. It was just to the point where, look, hey, I had to make a decision. Either I'm going to save my family, or we're gonna fall victim. So, like the old folks say, sink or swim.
Yeah. And in fact,
pretty much what it was.
We got a story for you. Let's tell them about the car fire.
So we're gonna start off with this. It's Ma and Chris story time. It's Ma and Chris story time. It's Ma and Chris story time. Hey. All right. So you tell your well. First, let me tell you like this. I was always told that it's always three sides to a story. His story, my story, and what actually happened. But no, I just brought that up just to be funny. But anyway, what was your take on it?
So, from my perspective, I don't remember exactly what year it was, but I'll say it was very early on when we first moved around.
No, it wasn't early on. You were in middle school.
No, the car fire.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking about Nitro. Yeah, so today's story is Nitro living up to his name. Yeah. So, very early on, when we first moved around there, what was like maybe...
We don't have to say the years.
Oh, yeah. Let's just say it was a long time ago. But...
more than 5 years ago. Yeah,
I'll say like 10 plus years ago. But, so, we moved over there to Wickham, blah, 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 got used to it. We had a car, or my mom had a car named Nitro. And now that looking back on it, we probably shouldn't have named it Nitro, because he quite literally lived up to his name. So... well,
first, let me say this. The car was given to me by my great aunt. My great aunt Duke boyfriend used to fix cars, and at the time I was in need of a vehicle because I was trying to travel back and forth without using public transportation. I wanted to be independent and on my own, so he had a vehicle that he restored, and he couldn't sell it because something was wrong with it, so he just said to drive it until it just finally just give out. So that's how we ended up with the car. A blessing from Aunt Duke.
Yeah. And on this fateful day, I was playing in the back with some of my friends from the hood. And who it was or something, but actually,
it was Granddad.
Yeah, it was Granddad. So, my mom was having some problems with the car, things like that, and Granddad went to go try to fix it, do whatever he could. He came back, and the car was smoking.
The car was on fire.
Well, yeah, it was on fire, but from my perspective, it looked like it was smoking. So I ran back to where my friends were, and I remember I was waving my hands. I was like, my mom's car is smoking, and I think, Lord, I don't forgot her name, but the mother of my friends had ran over to see what was going on, was it Lord?
We don't have to use names, don't.
Well,
yeah, leave them out. Leave the names out.
But basically, someone ran over to see what I was talking about, and they was like, "It's not smoking, it's on fire." So we all ran to the back, just looking, cause black people, that's what we do. We nosy as hell. Oh, Lord. I'm cut out, but we nosy. So we ran to the back and hid just in case it blew up, because we thought, just like in the movies and video games, if it caught on fire, it was gonna blow up. And this was around the time my grandma, or our grandma, was living with us, and she was panicking. I feel so bad.
What's the number to 911?
Yes.
What's the number to 911?
And she was like, "It's 911." And she was like, "No, it isn't."
Well, let me start off how it happened. Okay, so I think I was out grocery shopping or something like that, and I know Danielle was with me. Mm-hmm. No, I ended up calling her because this is what happened. I was out and about that day running errands, and I needed gas, so I made it to the gas pump, and I had started pumping the gas. For whatever reason, Danielle was tailing me, so I'm guessing that I probably already had trouble, and she just came up to my sister. I'm talking about my sister followed me to the gas station. So as I'm putting gas in the car, the gas is pouring out of the car. So I have the gas pump inside, pumping the gas, and the gas is pouring out at the bottom of the car. So of course we immediately stopped the gas from I stopped from pumping the gas, and I tried to start the car up and it wouldn't start. So some nice guy actually ended up getting out the car and pushing it out of the way of the gas pump. So I called my dad, and I told him that the car had messed up, and I was frustrated, and I was just at wit's end with the car, nitro. Mm-hmm. So my dad, he finally comes around, he gets the car and everything, and he actually got it started. So now we're about 3 minutes away from where we live, so it's like pretty much just around the corner from where we live to get back to the house. So at that time that my dad had taken the car, got the car started and drove it to the house, I drove his car and my sister was behind me. So when I pull up, all I see is the car is engulfed in flames and smoke. And I was like, what in the world happened, Dad? So my dad proceeds to tell me that when he was coming around the corner to turn into the apartment complex, that some guy yelled. I was like, "Hey man, your car's on fire!" So my dad just stopped. Like he actually parked the car, and he got out of the car and ran. And like he said, sure enough, the car, the hood, flames was just coming. He said blue smoke, fire, and everything was just coming from all underneath the car.
It is funny because I saw him get out the car. He was waving his hands and he ran off. That's why I thought it was smoking. Little did I know it was actually on fire until one of my friends, or I think maybe the mother of my friend, said something. Basically, someone said something like, "It's not smoking, it's on fire."
The car was on fire. So needless to say, we had to call it fire department to come. The kids were scared because, well, we all thought that the car was gonna blow up like you see in the movie, right?
That's cool.
That was our first thing. Like, so we're telling all the kids to get back, like, get back, get back. They so excited. They running up, looking, smoke flying all in their face and everything. They coughing. Oh man, that joint on fire. It's like, if you don't get back from that car before it explodes.
Well, to be fair, that's not something you really see in the hood. So of course you're gonna be curious.
It was exciting to the kids.
And it ended up not exploding anyway. So
so well,
good,
needless to say, my dad has said that. It's so funny though, now that I think about it. He was like, girl, don't you know that those cars blow up because they rigged them to do that? And I was like, oh. I had a moment, oh. But needless to say, yes. Nitro did take me to and from where I had to go, and he hung in there until...
He lived up to his name.
Yeah, so...
Hindsight, we shouldn't call him Nitro. We should have.
Yeah, but
we should call him Beatrice or something. Or,
the couple of weeks of driving the car had started smelling like gas, and I told Granddad, you know, hey, I don't want to drive this car anymore. It's starting to smell like gas. Yeah. And he kept saying, well, I'm gonna have my friend to take a look at it. Between somebody could have been jealous that we got the car in the hood and sabotaged it. Because they were doing that. They were putting sugar in people's gas tanks, being stupid. They were just doing stupid stuff. Mm-hmm. And it was like, they didn't want you to have anything good. Mm-hmm. But they get upset because they see you work hard for what you want. And they feel like it was their responsibility to either destroy it or just try to some way sabotage it or bring it down. That was the only thing that I didn't like about that. Mm-hmm. And now that I think about it, you know, we were in the hood, in the projects. So a lot of people there probably had mental issues. Mm-hmm. I know there was a lot of drug and alcohol abuse going on there. Yeah. I know that. But we probably were surrounded by a bunch of people who had mental issues.
Most likely. Because I mean... Well, compared to like the other hoods, Brooklyn Court wasn't that bad. Or at the time when we like first moved there, but like over time, that's when it was like, okay, y'all starting to wild now.
The younger
ones started wild.
Yeah, the younger people that moved in were the ones that kept a lot of things going, or they have the family or friends to come over that don't live there and will completely tear the place up.
Start stuff. Yeah. Because like, I remember one time, like at one point, like we was used to be able to have like block parties and things like at Wickham. Then like maybe like
the
2013
come around
to like 2015. That's when it was like. That's when everybody just started beefing. It was just
they said beefing, that means they didn't like each other, one another, whatever the case may be. We didn't have anything to do with that. It was just the environment that we were in. And what was crazy about the whole situation was that we didn't own any of that.
Yeah, exactly.
And they made it like, this is our territory, this is ours, this is this, that, and the third.
It's still like that for real.
It is.
Like,
and if they don't like that. You,
the white man owns that. You fight for territory that you don't own.
And you don't know who owns it, so don't say that.
Well,
you don't know who owns it.
My bad. Just basically you're fighting for stuff you don't own. Yeah. Other people rent that. You're messing up their stuff. Then when they want to kick you out, now you mad.
Label all of us, because they're not going to say, oh, she's a nice person or he's a nice guy, they're a good family. No, we're going to be all considered
lumped in together.
One. You people. You ever heard that expression? You people.
Yeah.
And it's as racist as it is, it sounds. Yeah. It is what it is. But you get labeled in that statistic, that category. Like a monster or something like that. Yeah. And
it could be a few bad eggs in the hood, and the whole hood gets labeled as a bad place. Yeah. When in actuality, it may be like one or two of the projects out of like maybe 30 or 40 of them. But because y'all done brought the crap out to the street and got you know, innocent people and stuff in the crosshairs, now the whole hood considered bad. Like, come on now.
And the living conditions, like, I mean, back then they did keep up with everything.
Yeah, mostly, but like over time, it was just like
it was just
everything started falling apart.
Turn it down.
Yeah.
Like, how are you going to destroy where you're living? This is our shelter. This is
one of the few places we got left.
Yeah.
Because like you got to think about this.
It's low income.
Yeah, especially during the time. This is right before the recession. Then the recession hits, and money is tight. The housing market is in shambles. So where are you going to go if you're going to keep messing up your hood, things like that? Where are you going to go?
Neighborhood.
Well, messing up your neighborhood. Where are you going to go? Yeah, I'm sorry.
Sorry, you don't have to be sorry, but I mean, it's just us.
Yeah.
Be mindful that we have a listening audience.
Yeah.
Might not understand our terms or the lingo or the.
Well, nowadays they probably understand exactly what we saying.
Yeah.
Y'all some detectives. I ain't committed no crimes. Y'all gonna solve it.
No, it's just somebody
like 5
has
minutes.
taken the time to educate others on us. No. But no. Like I said, it wasn't the worst, but it wasn't the best either.
Yeah.
And growing up, like with me, I grew up in the projects, and
actually, she grew up in the same hood.
Yeah. Wait, let me finish. Okay. So when I was growing up, like I didn't know that we were poor. You know, I just knew that, you know, we had good friends and the community, I loved it. Like, I didn't see anything different or, well, at the time, it wasn't that bad. The drugs was bad. Like, I do recognize, like, well, growing up, I did recognize, like, drug dealers and all that stuff. But as far as it being, like, completely, like, dangerous.
Yeah.
To where at the point where we were there, like I didn't know I was poor until somebody told me, "Oh, you're from this hood or you're from that hood," and I never forgot. I had a teacher to tell me I had one of those names. I was like, "What is one of those names?" To mind you, I'm about 7 to 10, but I don't remember exactly how old I was, but I remember because I was old enough to remember, and I got offended. Like, what is one of those names? And the teacher told me that basically my mom or young parents that have children at a young age that didn't know any better would use a name and just change the first syllables, and which it was true, but it was like, how dare you tell that to a child, a growing child, that has to learn, and you're already starting us off in negativity, like one of those names. What do you mean by that? Urban, ghetto, just pretty much what it was. I mean, it was the actual truth, but just you know, for you to be a leader, an influencer, someone that I looked up to, I wasn't expecting to hear that. And I understand, like, some of us probably was bad. We didn't listen. We didn't do what we were supposed to do when we came to some of those programs or to the school and everything. But just to say that to a child, it was really disturbing.
Yeah.
And
so it's like, me personally, like, your name doesn't really sound that crazy to me, or it doesn't.
But no, it's how they put it in the category.
Yeah, I understand that, but it's like still, it's like,
and they made it like, okay, because my mom had me young, she was ignorant, and that was the only thing that she knew to do, which that wasn't the case.
Yeah,
like,
not true.
Yeah, that wasn't
Definitely
the case.
True.
Like,
because my grandma is smart. Yeah.
And so, true, she did have me at a young age, but still, like, my growing and some of my friends' growing were completely different. Like, I had some friends that mom was strung out on drugs. That if you caught her at the right date, I'm not saying the right date, but at the wrong time, put it that way, where she was going through one of her moments where she didn't have her drugs or anything, she was selling that child. Yeah, it was that serious. And people, I don't know if they understood it or maybe they just didn't care. I don't know, but I know my mom cared, and she would have us playing in the front yard and we couldn't leave without her permission. Or it was to the point where I said, hey mom, I want to go hang out with my friends, and she would say, no, take your sister with you. And my sister and I are like 8 years apart, so it was a big difference for me. I'm walking around with her, you know, not on my hip, but she was a little older to walk around. But it was just the point, like, why would you have me take my little sister with me? And her moral point was to pretty much to keep me out of trouble, because I had to think twice with her with me. So my friends could say, hey, let's go jump off this bridge, and I looked down at my sister and it's like, no, I got my sister with me, I ain't jumping off no bridge. You know, it was like, that's the best way I can explain it. As far as
give you a little more responsibility, so you don't do
anything stupid.
Because like you got to think about the timeline. Because like this is probably like late 80s, early 90s. Richmond was pretty wild back then. Yeah, still is, but back then that's when it was starting to ramp up. So I can understand why she doesn't want you to go by yourself. Yeah. Because she don't want you to get into nothing, to get in trouble.
And which that was pretty much what it was. So, like, as far as thinking like that, like, some people really didn't care. You know, I can remember times where, well, I wouldn't, because her mom did work. But she was more like you, where, you know, she had to help out her mom with the babysitting, and while the mom was working, she's outside with the baby sister on her hip, walking around. And the sister actually looked like it's her child at a young age, but it wasn't her child, it was her sister's. She had to tag her sister along. She wanted to come out the house and play with us. She had to bring her sister with her, which, I mean, we didn't put her sister in harm's way. I mean, we all played with her sister and everything, so it was okay. But she did get a lot of looks like, oh, she had a baby at a young age, or they running with a crew where they having kids at a young age. And for that instance, it wasn't the case. It was her sister. She was just babysitting, like, but she wanted to be young. You know, she was, well, not wanted to be young. She still wanted to live her life. So everywhere we went, we didn't go far, but we were in the neighborhood. But she would have her sister on her hip, and people would look at her funny as if the baby was hers, and it wasn't. It was her sister. But we've had it where cousins being fast, and they got pregnant at a young age. And you don't see the realness of it. You looking like, oh, because my cousin had a baby, or my sister had a baby, my older sister had a baby, so now I want one. You don't understand that responsibility until you had a child. And then it's an eye opener, like, wait a minute. And that's one thing I learned from other people's mistakes. Like, oh no, if you do this, you're gonna get that, and you're gonna have this, not problem but issue, for the rest of your life, because children, and of course, you know, you never grow up. I still depend on my mama, you still depend on me, so I'm just giving you a scenario. But I remember my cousins them being grown. I ain't talking bad about them though, because the kids are the best thing that has happened to them. In some instances, slowed the individual down. To the point where it's like,
for the better.
Yeah. Oh,
definitely for the better.
But I remember my cousin, and don't get me wrong, she's a great mom. I'm not gonna say her name. It's a whole bunch of us, but you can kind of get that idea. So I'm just gonna say Miss Molly. It was the baby. We'll call her Miss Molly. And I asked her, well, actually I seen, because they gave her tough love because she had the baby young. And so like when she just needed a little break, a little time for herself just to get her mental together, she couldn't do that because she has this child, and the family made her feel that. So this particular time, I had stopped by to see how everybody was going, showed love and everything, and I seen how stressed she looked. So I just asked her, hey, you want me to babysit her for the night? I bring her back tomorrow and everything. I'm going home with my mom. So she didn't feel anything. I don't know if she thought twice about the situation or what, but all I know is before I can finish, she had her bags packed and ready. So needless to say, I ended up going home with Miss Molly. And of course, a baby in the house, so my mom was at coos and ahs, so she's just so in love, and Miss Molly was so sweet, and she's just so yummy, and it was just so lovable. But at every 3 hours, Miss Molly was waking up, looking at me like, sweetie, what you doing? There ain't no time to sleep, it's time to get up. So, at 3 in the morning, I'm stressed out, looking like, baby, you're not sleeping. What is going on? Something's wrong with her. But it was the harsh reality of being a young mom. Like, that one night with my sweet Miss Molly, I love her dearly, but that one night lets me know this is not what I want to do, not at the age of 15 or 18. But needless to say, Miss Molly is doing well. She well, how can I say, we didn't how can I put it, well, she's alive, she's healthy. She's not strung out on drugs, anything like that. Yeah, so I'm just saying, because we were young parents. Well, my cousin was a young parent, and Miss Molly ended up turning out fine. More to the story, but it was just at that point, at the age of 15.
Yeah, he was like, nah.
Yeah.
Now you see what your mom went through.
Yeah, because she had me around that age. And it was no joke. One night, I was, oh no.
I'm glad we broke that generational curse, because that was an aspect of the family for a few decades.
Yeah, having the kids young, starting off young.
Yeah,
but
we don't do that now. Especially me, I ain't doing that. No, I'm gonna wait till I'm 30.
No, because we
at the minimum.
We learn, like, it's a learning lesson. Like, I mean, true, my cousin went through it and her friend went through it, but it was a learning lesson. It was an eye opener for me. Like, hey, no, this is not. The baby is cute and all. It's cute dressing her up and everything, and making her look pretty and smelling all nice. But like, this is some real. Like, oh no, like, you can't put this back on the shelf, play with it for a little bit, and then put it away. No, that baby is with you for the rest of your life. So that lesson I learned to slow my roll, be protected. Yeah, be protected. Because even though my mama said don't do it, I still did it, but I had sense enough to use protection. So, and I don't know, it was just our harsh reality. Like,
because I mean, you also got to think about it this. During that time period, it's just a lot going on. You got the drugs, the gang wars, and it's just the overall hopelessness around that time. So, people that grew up in that era, of course they're going to, at least nowadays, they're going to have they're going to have a stigma against, sorry, the camera flipped out, or not flipped out, it cut off. Only got 30 minutes to work. But anyway, yeah, it's just like, you gotta think about the time period, you gotta think about what's going on during the time period. And, it's like slowly Well, actually, I can't really say it's getting better because I honestly don't know.
No, we left. As soon as I got myself together, got my head on straight, it's like, hey, we are not staying well because of my job too.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say, well, I work for the state. But anyway, because of my job, it was like, no, I'm not wearing this shirt out here.
Yeah.
But hey, I had to do what I had to do. You know, like, I didn't go to college because I chose to stay home and help my mom. Well, I mean, at the time, it worked for us. The situation worked for us, so that was a no-brainer. But now that I think about it, like, had I done some school, like,
or maybe a trade, but
something,
again, at that time, they was taking away all the like trade schools from the public schools.
Well, yeah, they did because
so they pretty much people were just set up for failure during that time. Again, crack epidemic, the gang wars. Well, I ain't gonna count the gang wars because that was kind of like. That was a product. Yeah, that was just a product of the environment. But the crack epidemic.
Excuse me. That statement is very true. You can be a product of your environment if you choose to. The point is that you don't.
Yeah.
You strive for better. You lean on God to save you, to help you, to keep you in those moments where you really don't know or it's just at a loss, you know. But to me, the people that we left there, they enjoyed it. Like, it was a normal, like, I couldn't get used to gunshots when I first moved around here, but eventually I did. I mean, it traumatized me, but
I mean, it's like
I got used to it. It was a normal.
Yeah, at that point in time, it was just like, hey, this is all we got for right now.
We gonna have
to, we're gonna have to make it work.
He died right here on the side of your house. Yeah. And that's no lie. It happened like
a few times.
Yeah. So it was just, we cannot stay here. This is not what I want to do. This is not how I remember it being growing up. And it was like, oh no, we gotta. And then another thing. Do you have like, well, maybe because you're not old enough to recognize and understand like a dream that you would consider weird. But I used to have dreams about you growing up. And I'm not like speaking negative over it, but what was presented to me in those dreams were negative. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it wasn't about him dying or anything like that, or getting shot or anything like that. That it wasn't what it was. But what I was dreaming about was like seeing the near future and seeing my son get recruited to the streets. That's the best way I can explain it. You get what I'm saying?
Or being like a gang member?
Turning into pretty much what we witnessed.
Honestly,
and
that makes sense to me because me personally, like, she kept me occupied. Like she basically during that time, the reason why I wasn't into nothing was because I became an introvert and I got into video games and things like that. Like, and that's kind of what kept me going by in the hood.
Yeah. So
which like I'm gonna go ahead and like tell a little bit. Like, me personally, had I not had like video games or like cartoons, it's probably
keep them in the house.
Like if I wasn't like in the house like 24/7, because I'll be honest, like I used to be like outside like a lot, but like,
and then it started getting too rough because
too rough. Then I got introduced to video games. Then we eventually got internet. So I was like, you know what? Forget the outside world. I'm gonna be up in here. I'm gonna play my Super Mario, my Halo, Call of Duty. I'm gonna watch some Dragon Ball Z and Naruto. Like, everybody dying outside. Outside ain't cool no more. So that's kind of like how my thinking was. But like, if I didn't have like any of that, chances are I probably would have been a gang member by now.
Or in trouble.
Or dead. Let's be honest, because it's gotten real bad now.
Yeah, so
I probably would have been.
When I say like the dreams that I used to have, it was like the streets were recruiting him. They were training him to be a thug, and that's the way that I seen it. Like, I don't know if you remember. You probably do, because when you and the kids, they got to fighting outside. I'm not gonna say no names, but the three little boys that jumped on you, and I was inside the house, and I heard the uncle of the, don't say the names, but the uncle of the one of the ones that.
Well, actually, I don't really remember the names. But no, I would tell this story from my perspective, because I'm not gonna lie, she kind of made it seem bad, but like we were playing originally. We had some boxing gloves. It was the first time we had boxing gloves. It was the first time I did some boxing. In fact, that's kind of probably why I like boxing, because of that event. But we was playing at first, and unfortunately, I guess I was hitting a little too hard because I was a big kid.
Yeah, he was the big kid.
I was a big kid. So from their perspective, I was kind of like
were hard.
Yeah, I was kind of being like, well, I won't being a bully, because like I didn't know.
Yeah, I
didn't realize I was hitting too hard.
Yeah.
But next thing I know, I'm getting jumped by 3 kids, and I was winning.
So what I heard was the uncle of one of the kids that was out there, and I heard him, "Yeah, Chris, get him, Chris, yeah." And I'm like, what in the world is going on out here? So I get up and I go to the door, because I'm sitting in my living room, and Chris was outside on the front porch, on the front playing. And I walk to the door, and I see Chris had one child in his arm, and he was swinging with the other arm, hitting the other one. So, Lord forgive me, they didn't have sense enough to run up at the same time to jump on him and get him. So one would run up, then the other one would run up. So as he's swinging, he has one kid by, I don't know, by the chest, arm, throat, or something.
Actually, they
and he were hitting like this. So when I see he knocked this one this way, then he knocked this one the other way, then he threw this one, and I'm like, what in the world is going on?
I was about to say, they actually did have the sense to run up on me, except I would take one of them and throw them to the other one. So by then they was realized, okay, it probably isn't a good idea for us to all attack at once, because then he's going to use one of us as a weapon for the others. So then they just started, basically it was a 3-on-1. Mm-hmm. Imagine, now this is for all the anime fans, imagine Madara versus the Shinobi Alliance. I was Madara. I was messing with kids. I thought we were playing. That was funny. That was funny.
He's telling the truth. So when I went outside to see what's going on, right, and I see the uncle, and then I see the stepdad to the other one, so I get nervous, like, oh my God, like, please don't hurt my child. But the uncle,
they were egging me on.
To keep going, right? So at this point, I was upset, and I'm calling him, and I'm like, Chris, get over here. So I guess he thought he was in trouble, so he starts crying. And then they shush him up and like, you did what you were supposed to do. And I'm looking at him like, what are you saying? Like, no, you should have broke it up. You should have, like, be adults. Who is the adult here? Like, they were egging him on, cheering him on.
I never forgot that.
I never forgot that either, but I was like, huh?
Because, like,
thug and training.
At the time, like again, I thought we was playing until they started jumping. I was like, oh, they serious. Mm-hmm. But like hindsight now, like it's kind of funny to me because like I really
now it's funny. But what he didn't see was my vision of that.
Yeah, which I didn't know that until like now. So
yeah, so what?
Like, dang.
Pretty much. How can I explain? Pretty much the way that the men were teaching him how to fight was to be able to fight multiple people at one time, which we witnessed that numerous times. They would be out there fighting one another, and you will have 10 to 15 people fighting on 1 to 5 people. If it is a group of people, let's say you come to your cousin's house, and it's 5 of y'all, and somebody gets to arguing with one person, instead of that one person and the other person fighting one-on-one, that one person will have a mob of people trying to fight them, and then before you know it, you have a whole group of people fighting. And I mean, it was so real. And like I said, I've seen so much, but my point was, instead of them being adults and breaking it up, saying, hey, you know, this is your neighbor, your brother, you're supposed to love one another, they were training him how to protect himself when he's older. And I didn't see it then, like, until I actually started seeing the fight.
Yeah.
The way that they were acting and behaving. And don't get me wrong, like when we were younger, we did the same thing too, and I didn't realize that
until like you got older.
Older,
you realized, like, hey, that's kind of messed up.
Yeah,
like,
we were vicious.
Yeah.
But with me, the way that it happened,
I would say you was defending
fighting,
like
yeah, we
cousins.
were defending family members. So like I said, you get to arguing with one person, and instead of you fighting one person one-on-one, I mean, not saying that it was a good thing to do, but instead of you fighting one-on-one, you got 4 or 5 sisters that you don't know that are sisters, and they all coming to defend their sister beating up on one person. So a lot of times that's what it was. Like, I can say I honestly never, like, until I got older, had a fight that I fought my own self. Like something that I called, something that I did. It was nothing to that. It was always protecting my family. Like with him, he was a bigger child growing up, so was I. Like I had the height and I had the weight, so I looked a lot older than what some of my cousins did.
Yeah, I definitely had the weight.
Yeah, so I would walk up on a situation with my cousin who is smaller frame than me, and she says, well, you know, this girl and her family keep messing with me, keep picking on me, they keep doing this and they keep doing that. All I would do was just show up, mere presence. I wouldn't have to lay my hands on anything or just stand there. I'm just right there. And then the whole situation turned around. It's like, oh, well, if I mess with her now, she's gonna get her cousin. And that's pretty much how it went. I'm not saying that like that was a good thing, but at that time, that was pretty much what we had. Like, if you didn't have family, like, pretty much like a game, if you didn't have your family to stand in with you, then sometimes you would get labeled out like that. And I know a female that actually happened. She moved into the neighborhood. She was already doing good for herself, and she had her 2 sons, and she was a little dainty little thing. Like she kept herself together, you know, have her hair done, have her nails done, always looking nice. The boys always dressed nice. But the girls that lived in her apartment complex grew jealous of that. And 9 times out of 10 was because they chose to be on welfare. Don't get me wrong, welfare is not a bad thing because it helped people out when they needed it. But at the point in time in your life, okay, if you had one baby and you got on welfare to help take care of that one, my thing is, why would you have another one to get back on instead of getting yourself together and working? But that's how it was. Don't get me wrong. And I didn't understand that. So like I said, if they see that you are out here working hard, providing and building something for you, they would get jealous. They want to take it away. They want to take your life away. They just sabotage, like, and I didn't understand.
In other words, people be hating sometimes.
Yeah.
They be hating.
Pretty much. But it was to the point where they were violent. And like, if you didn't stand up for yourself, then you became a victim. And I'm not saying like they'll shoot you down or anything like that. No.
It wasn't like that, but you definitely gonna get beat up.
they will fight you every chance that they got, and that what kept on happening to her. Every time she would try to go to work, take the kids to school, these particular girls will be out there picking and fight her. And she said it went on for quite a while before she had told us about the situation. So she said that she had to be ghetto one time, and she said she had a wine bottle. Like she had a glass of wine, the big bottles like I had, that used to drink, and she said she was leaving to go. I don't know where she said she was going, but she was leaving the house to go. And imagine she had her own little car and everything. And she said the girls came out at this particular time ready to fight her. And she said she had enough of it. She said before she was hitting them, beating them, hitting them, fighting them with the champagne bottle. But after she did that, the girls stopped. They left her alone after that. And it's like, Lord, forgive me for saying this, and it's gonna sound negative and nasty, but how ignorant are you to continue to keep messing with someone, picking on someone that you know that would not say anything to you, do harm to you, or anything like that, but you choose to do that to this person because you feel like you have that advantage over her.
Yeah, well, all I'm gonna say now is like nowadays you try to do that, you're gonna get put in the grave. So don't think you can do that nowadays.
Yeah,
because you gonna mess around and you gonna end up a statistic. There we go, statistic nowadays. So
you ever heard the phrase?
Leave that mess in the high school.
Yeah, you ever heard the phrase? How can I say it? Excuse me for cursing, but you thought you were Billy Badass till you actually meet Billy Badass. You ever heard that phrase?
Or the other one, F around and find out.
Yeah. And sometimes they had to do that. But hey, that's how it was. Like, with me, I had the females to be jealous, but it was because I was doing something positive. So instead of them saying, hey, you know, you're doing a good job, or I see that you're doing good things, you're taking care of yourself and your child, it was always something negative. So like I would have my hair fixed or my nails or something like that done, or just wearing nice clothes. They don't even know where the clothes came from. Half the time I caught clothes on sale. I remember when skinny jeans first came out, and they were expensive. Yeah. So I had to wait until the clearance, and I paid $20 each for a pair of skinny jeans, right? So it was a little money I had left over after shopping for you for your with your child support. So I had about $50 left over out of it, right? Yeah. So I bought me 2 pair of jeans. He was already straight, but I bought me 2 pair of jeans that I got on the clearance rack, and it was just the jeans. I didn't even find a shirt. I didn't have enough money for the shirt, so I ended up going to Family Dollar and finding 2 nice shirts in Family Dollar on the clearance rack for like $3. I never forgot that, because I said to myself, I have a $23 outfit on that it looks like I paid a lot of money for, and I didn't. Everything was on sale. And I remember I would go and get some cigarettes from the lady who used to sell the cigarettes, right? And I used to have to walk through the cut. It was just the way that the apartment complex was made, so we just called it the cut. So I had to walk through one cut to get to where she lived. And I never forgot the girl, she was jealous of me. And when we first moved there, they started rumors saying that I was on drugs and all this crazy stuff. And
that's because she had lost a lot of weight.
Yeah, at the time, so. I was going through depression. I did not like it there. I hated it. I stopped eating. I was depressed. Depression is real, y'all. That's why I said it ain't nothing that I haven't been through that I can't say that God didn't bring me through. He kept me. He saved me. He kept me alive. He didn't let any harm come to me, and it was times where they were trying to take me out. The enemy was trying. But anyway, like I said, she would get jealous of little simple things. She knew that I didn't really have all that much money, so I would do little things like arch my eyebrows or paint my fingernails and everything. Imagine, we're all living in public housing, so it's not expensive stuff that I'm buying. It's little bottles of nail polish that I would find, you know, at a reasonable price, or it's a pretty color or something like that. And I would just take the time to invest in myself. And I like to look nice. I was working hard. Why couldn't we have nice things without somebody else getting upset and jealous over it? Now I think, had I been a tinier size and frame or a little shorter or something like that, it may have been different. But like I said, with me, you're gonna think twice before you say, oh well, I don't like her, I'm gonna go upside her head. When I say that, I mean like actually physically trying to fight.
Yeah.
So you gonna think twice before you know, trying to fight me or anything. And I think that's what not saved me, but it kind of like made them think like, oh, if we, you know, we come after her, we're gonna really have to come after her, because well, for one, I've been in this world long enough to know that if you hit me, you're gonna hit me to hurt me, to slow me down, to do whatever. So I'm not gonna let you do that, first of all. And you know, that's just how it was. But I would hear the jealous comments like, why are you upset when you can go out and do the same exact thing that I'm doing? And then I think I was working at McDonald's. Hated it, but I had to do what I had to do. Mama had to do what she had to do.
Yeah.
I was working at McDonald's cashier. I was making $7.25 an hour, making 8 hours a day when I worked. After taxes and everything, we get paid every other week. I don't even think my checks were like $300, $300 or $400. I don't think it was that much. And I'm like, you're bickering over this little bit? When before my life changed, our situations had changed, where I was earning a lot more, a better wage than that. It was about far better wage than what I was already earning. And I was thinking then like, that was something to get jealous of. That was something to, you know, because at the time then I had it together, and it's like, here I lost everything and I'm here and you're still jealous. And I'm looking at the situation like I have nothing to be jealous about. But to them, they seen something. And it could have been the way I walked, could have been the way I talked, because they did think we were from New York. I don't know why.
I don't know why. We was born and raised here, so.
Yeah, we were born and raised here, but we
in fact
spoke with proper English.
That's probably why
we pronounce words.
Why do we gotta be considered white or black-ish? Because we speak in proper English?
Yeah.
Really?
It was stuff like that. Speaking proper English, and even
because I've been told that a few times.
Yeah.
That I act white because I pronounce my words.
Yeah, I will butcher my words, and if I get excited, you'll hear the slang coming out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that we were told. Well, I was told that we talk white, and I was like, "What do you mean we talk white? What is white?"
Yeah.
We sound like we're educated. Yeah. We don't sound like, yeah, nah, man, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. No, we don't. My mother had taken the time to have us learn, educated. And what's crazy, we both went to public schools.
Yeah.
So the same opportunity that
you had, classes.
We had.
Literally in the same class with you. But because I'm decided I want to speak proper, you think I act white. Like, come on now. Or
I was told I was bougie. What's bougie? Because I choose to take care of myself. Yeah. Because I choose to look nice even on my bad days when I was going through depression, where I didn't want to get out of bed. I'm bougie?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't understand it. But like I said, we were surrounded by
probably a bunch of mental health,
illiterate. It just, they didn't care. Haters. And it was never nothing good. Even with the elders that live around there, it was never nothing good. I remember one neighbor, I don't know why I had taken a liking to this lady. She was an older lady and everything. And one morning I was making breakfast, and of course I'm walking through to go and get some cigarettes, some loose cigarettes. And she told me that no, she asked me, what are you doing up this early? I was like, oh no, I'm just in the house cooking. And she goes, well, what are you making? And I was like, I'm making breakfast. So she said, oh, well, can I have some? So I told her, you know, what I had made and everything. So she goes, oh yeah, go ahead and bring me some of that, right? So after I make the nice little plate for her and everything and take it over there, instead of her saying, oh, you did a real good job, thank you, you know, I haven't eaten, or I didn't have the extra food, because at that time, after the 5th of the month, they were broke. Yeah. Living off of checks and food stamps. And like I said, I was working, so we had the extra money, so I didn't mind, you know, bringing her a plate of food that morning. Yeah. And what she did said, well, your bacon is cooked right nice, but she made a comment about the pancakes being too thick or something like that. And I was saying to myself, sweetie, you asked for something to eat. Yeah, I didn't come over here and ask for something from you to eat. Just be appreciative. Just take it. Even if you didn't want to eat it, don't make a comment. Just thank you and throw it in the trash. You know, it was just that simple. But it was like that. They really showed us like the hard knock life. Like, oh, y'all think y'all better and all this stuff. Well, that's what I got. That's the way that I got it. And
I would say it wasn't really too bad for me. Though I would get like a few comments here and there. But anyway, yeah, I'll get like fat comments here and there. But like they didn't really mess with me. Most because they knew like I was a nerd, so I won't really go and fight back. Well, actually, they probably knew like I probably would have fought back, like if they attacked me. But yeah, they didn't really mess with me too much.
They gonna think twice before.
Yeah, because I tried. Especially as I got older and I got heavy, they weren't gonna mess with me. And if they did, they probably would have had to use like multiple people. But again, I wasn't really into none.
And that
was
another thing. Like what really kept me on him to stay out of the streets. You know, so because I'm like.
But I will say, I'm not gonna say his name, but one of my cousins used to start a lot of crap, and I would have to help this fool because he would start crap, then almost get jumped, and I have to be like, hey man, like come on now, yeah, y'all don't have to jump him.
Like it's not cool, y'all don't have to jump him.
Yeah, he ruined a few relationships I had with people.
Yeah, well I mean,
I won't say ruined, but it's like. They ain't really like mess with me too much afterwards, cause like I swear he would mess with like all my friends. I swear, and it was just like.
Well, I can't speak on it because I really don't know what was going through his head or whatever, or however you know he may have seen it, but yeah, it did a lot. Yeah, it did.
I got in trouble with the bus driver. I won't even do it nothing myself, but because this fool
guilty by association.
Yeah, because this fool want to act up on the bus, I got lumped with him because we family.
It happens. Guilty by association. Yeah. It happens. I've had that happen to me in the workplace, but anyway, this is another story. But anyway. Yeah, that's how it pretty much went. Yeah. So, like, it was all too confusing because growing up, it didn't seem like it was like that. And, I mean, you had the families where you seen and knew that were struggling. The ones that didn't really have the money to, like, buy, you know, detergent to wash clothes and stuff. And your clothes smell a little musty or pissy. Yeah, so, back to what we were saying. That was pretty much how it went. Like I said, all the times weren't bad, and I can see how people get comfortable. They get lost in circumstances. Some gonna become victims. Some gonna become their own worst enemies. So I understand. I understand how, as far as like with me or what I went through. First of all, when we first moved there, I was depressed because of our situation. Like I said, we came from a toxic toxic lifestyle, and we had to learn had to learn how to function with just the two of us. And from my previous experience, as far as taking care of myself, because I've been working since I was 14. Like, my mom would find the summer programs and stuff to keep me out of trouble, keep me involved in something to take my mind off the streets. And my mom would find programs and stuff for me to go to, and some of them would pay. So I would work during the summer to get my school clothes and everything, and which I did for a couple of years until I was old enough to actually work.
Yeah, work.
Work in a establishment. But yeah, that's what my mom did to me. So that's what I had to do with him. But at the time, he was young. So my way of keeping him out of trouble, keeping him, because he was a latchkey kid, first of all. And like I said, I didn't want him outside while I had to work, because they would have a shootout in the middle. I mean, in broad daylight, like right now, we would hear gunshots. We would hear gunfire. And then you hear the ambulance and the police coming in. It's like, oh my God, somebody else got shot today. But it was that type of situation that I didn't want him in, or for him to have my house filled with kids doing whatever they wanted to do while I was at work, you know? And that was my pet peeve. Like, no, you're not gonna do that. I want you to stay right here. You do your homework. When you come home from school, lock the door. Don't you open it for nobody. You hear me? Nobody. But no, so I would buy him video games to keep your mind off of what was going on. He couldn't go outside until I got home, and then when I got home, it was dark, so it was no going outside. But it kept him out of trouble. It kept him safe. It kept him, like my mom kept me, which it was through the grace of God. God
Plus,
kept us. God
it did give me a good amount of independence. Or I was like able to, basically, like I have like no problem like being by myself like nowadays, because like, again, like that's probably like how I grew up, and like I know that kind of like sounds bad, but like,
but it's peaceful.
Honestly, it is. And
full.
Yeah, it's just like, hey, I just be in my own world. I just be chilling, like.
Not stressed out, not worried about, your friends coming over trying to take over, or eating up all your food.
Yeah, don't gotta worry about people beefing with me,
getting in trouble.
Yeah, I just be chilling, be playing my video games, doing some drawing, making music. That's all I do.
And it started off as a survival mechanism. A survival mechanism to keep him safe and out of harm's way. It was what I guess God led me to do, because I couldn't afford a babysitter. And from the time frame with him getting out of school and me getting home from work, it wasn't worth it. Like, so we did what we had to do, and that's how we pretty much survived. That's how we ended up here. And I'm looking at it now, like it only prepared us to
survive.
Get to that point, to survive.
It prepared us to do what we got to do. Yeah,
by the grace of God, we made it. We're here. He kept us safe. He saved us. Like,
he also gave us a lot of common sense. Well, mostly common sense, because sometimes I do stupid things and be like, why did I do that? But
that's everyone.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So we came a long, long way. A long way, because I could have easily been lost, been sucked up in that environment. So is him. Could have been anything.
I was the big boy. They would have definitely tried to recruit me. Like, look at them.
They tried.
Look at them.
They were trying. Because the streets don't love you.
They don't.
They don't love you. The streets will kill you, leave you a stain on the street, and they'll be in.
Chew you up and spit you out like a piece of gum.
Will be walking around with buttons with your picture on it, and I've seen so many shirts, pictures on shirts,
seen plenty of shirts.
Flowers with makeshift little graves where the person died at. So
yeah.
I can say, like, right now, I'm very grateful for what I have. It's the little things.
Yeah. I'm also grateful for family because most of us stayed out of trouble too. Because like we all, well, I ain't gonna say we all, because like some of us was a little bit more lucky than others, but well, most of us grew up in the hood. We seen all kinds of crap. We could probably get family members on here to tell what stories they done witnessed and things like that. But it's like, we've been in the trenches. Yeah,
like I said, not all of them are, good experiences. Some of them are negative and bad, but it was what stood out, the trauma of it. It was what we remember. But I remember one birthday, we were just getting ourselves back together, and it was Chris' birthday, and I didn't have a lot of money to really do anything, so I had a thought of just to get a piñata and fill it with candy, right? And that was like the highlight, other than the cake and the ice cream and the food that we had. That was the highlight of pretty much what I can afford. And I was feeling kind of bad because that was all that I could do. Being, like I said, with your dad, the relationship was just toxic. But that was pretty much what I can afford to do at that time. Story, though. Yeah. But when that day had came and we were setting up out there, and I seen all the other little kids that was in our little circle of our living quarters, the children that were out there, and I put that piñata up, and for the first time, some of them kids had never seen a piñata. They seen it on TV, but they'd never seen one
in real life.
In real life, right? So as we are setting up everything, like they're walking by and they're looking like, oh, he got this, he got that, as far as food, and then they're looking like, oh, he got a piñata. So when it came time, it seemed like we had all the neighborhood kids.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, anytime like we had a birthday party like in the hood, it'll just be all these kids.
Kids come from
like kids I've never seen before.
Yeah.
Like, what the world?
And it was like,
but I mean, like,
it was happy.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
it brought like
it brought us together.
Yeah, and we didn't argue, we didn't fuss, we didn't fight. I remember when I don't know who broke the piñata open, but when that piñata bust open and all that candy fell everywhere, them children about ran me over trying to get that candy, and it was so funny. I couldn't do anything but just laugh and get out the way. I mean, they were screaming and running. You could see candy flying.
I wish we had like some kind of camera back then. Yeah, because those, like, you had to be there to see it
to get that experience, and that was something that.
Just ghetto piñata party.
it stayed with me, and for the first time I can say that we were honestly happy.
Yeah.
With not just us, but all the kids that was out there having a good time.
Because we just
and it was a good vibe that day.
Yeah, good vibe.
But it's stuff like that I remember that made it. Like,
I remember the good stuff and the bad stuff.
Yeah. So
like,
I don't know.
Like, I remember Christmas 2012. Well, I ain't gonna lie, Christmas of 2012, it was bittersweet because, like, the day before, our grandma had passed away on the eve of Christmas. But I remember the next day, I got my Xbox 360, and I played it all day. Well, I also think my grandma, so it was still bittersweet. But I remember that Christmas, I remember the first time I had saw Dragon Ball Z. I vividly remember that. Because, like, you know, I'm kind of going on a little bit of tangent, but, like, Nicktoons, like, that was my channel. Nicktoons, Cartoon Network. It's just, like, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And even though I had a lot of bad experience in the hood, I still had a lot of good experiences. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, you gotta make those experiences.
Mm-hmm. And not make them, but just use that to get you through on them dark days. Yeah. When there is no light. Mm-hmm. And you think about little stuff like that. Yeah. It will cheer you up. It will brighten your day. Mm-hmm. It most certainly will. Yeah. So, yeah. Like I said, even though we couldn't stay there, mentally, oh, no. We had to go.
Yeah, because, like, I'll say, like, yeah, probably middle school, it was like, yeah, we gotta do something better.
It's time to go. They getting ridiculous.
Yeah, because, like,
that's another story. Yeah. So we're gonna say that story. But we're gonna wrap this up because I need to get some sleep. I've been up all night.
And I got class at 1, so I'm gonna go ahead and
watch the time this time to make sure you don't miss it. But yeah, so this is just story time with Ma and Chris. Story time, Ma and Chris. Story time. Hey. So if you like that, leave a comment. If
subscribe.
Subscribe, share, do all of them, press all the button, do all of it. But yeah, so this is just us in a nutshell. Who we are, where we're from, and how God is keeping us here. How now that I look back on everything, it won't nobody but Him, none but God. He saved us, He kept us out of harm's way, He protected us, He did all that He said He would do in the Bible, and He did. Even when we won't do what we were supposed to do by Him. So, with that being said, we're not going to hold you guys up. We're out of here. We love you guys.
Bye. Bye.